Good morning, good evening, and good day. You're listening to Dramabuds, an anime podcast. So hello everyone, welcome to today's episode of Dramabuds. I can't believe I have to do this. I can't believe I have to make this episode because I'm so mad about things that I saw on the internet. So let's do a classic Dramabuds episode. No structure, no cuts, minimal editing, just me ranting, okay? It's a new segment on the podcast called In Defense Of, where I give a mostly unfiltered rant about a character or a show or something. Today, obviously, we're talking about Love is for Suckers again. I know I just talked about this last week. I'm so sorry. Just to recap my first impressions from the first 6 episodes from last week. I liked it. It was a good mix of rom-com and mellow. I love the chemistry between the leads. I actively rooted for them to get together. And I was just, in general, everything was going okay. I was worried about how they would pace the rest of the show. So updates, just after a week, just after 2 episodes, well, the writing is not as tight. Honestly, they're doing a lot more filler. But I'm unfortunately more invested than ever. We could have condensed episodes 7 and 8 into one episode. Really, you could have got so much. I definitely started skipping scenes with other dating show contestants. It's fine, I expected this. And we need more scenes with the leads together. Yeah, they've just spent too much time apart in the past 2 episodes. But the scenes we did get with them together, oh my god, things are so messy. They're so messy, parenthesis affectionately, and they should be. This is how messy I want my shows to be, my reality TV shows to be. Okay, first of all, let me just defend this show in what it's trying to do, or what I think it's trying to do. This is not an easy breezy, feel-good rom-com where everything goes their way, everything's perfect, it's so wholesome, they're so perfect together, they never hurt each other, they're so cute, and everything's great. That's honestly, those shows are more frustrating for me, because I keep wondering, then what's stopping you? What's the conflict? What's the plot? We're just watching you dance around each other like idiots if you're so perfect for each other and there's nothing stopping you. But in Love is for Suckers, there are a lot of reasons why they're not together. Okay, there are so many problems. I genuinely don't know how they're gonna fix everything. But that's not my job. It's not my job to think of how they're gonna fix it. It's their job to show it to me, okay? It's their job to make me believe that, you know what, it sucks, but this is kind of the best they could do. Which is generally what I feel about everything that's happened so far. Why are they not together? You have to ask. And girl, from the moment that Goo Yeo Reum got a marriage proposal and then had that fall apart on the day of the wedding, it's been messy. This show is messy because life is messy. Relationships are messy. People are messy, even at that age. And most importantly, reality TV shows, the exact thing that they're trying to make on the show, they're messy. And Goo Yeo Reum has gotten so much hate or criticism or complaints from viewers online for so many reasons that I feel like I have to do this. I have to do In Defense of Goo Yeo Reum. So yeah, welcome. Okay. This is not a spoiler-free episode, by the way. I will be spoiling a lot of things because a girly has to spoil if she wants to rant. Thank you very much. First of all, I have to defend her actions from the past 4 episodes, I guess. Since episode 5, yeah. To me, her actions are not incomprehensible, okay? They're not out of character, and I don't think it's bad writing. I've seen that, it's bad writing. She's not making any sense, or she's being terrible, whatever. It's I think we have to reflect on whether or not something is bad writing just because we don't like it or we disagree with it. Because in this case, I don't fully like all her decisions, right? I think you could have done this a nicer, smarter way, but I am seeing this from an outside perspective, so I know everything. But given what you know, given who you are, given who you've interacted with and your relationships with them, in general, I think most of her decisions, it's the best she could do with the terrible situation that she's in. Okay, so essentially, to summarize, part G1, this contestant in the show, she kind of revealed that she experienced sexual harassment when she was a kid on camera, okay, to another contestant that she was on a date with. The cameras are rolling. This could be aired. But I also understand, she felt vulnerable. She felt comfortable enough to share it. She felt like she needed to explain herself as a person, why she was the way that she was. And it just had to happen when the cameras and the mics were on. Okay. And then Kang Cherry PD, who's the head PD of this dating variety show, she has no boundaries. She doesn't care about broadcast ethics. She doesn't care if Park Ji-won doesn't want that to be aired on TV. I mean, as one has the right to say, right? As a human being, you would respect that. But, they signed a contract, the PD gets to decide what is aired, and that's one of the things that Kang Cherry wants to air. Terrible. It's a terrible situation. Okay. And so Yeo Reum, being a good person but not a great PD, she couldn't think of any other way to outwit or outscandalize that incident without making Jae Hoon and Jiyeon, this other contestant who has feelings for him because they were on a blind date before and she's been chasing after him since. She couldn't think of any other way except we gotta make these two kiss. And so she tells Jiyeon like, yeah, could you kiss him? And Jiyeon's like, yeah, sure. I forgot. I don't really care about her response because she's like always like sad about, I'm G, even if I know he doesn't like me, even if I know he has feelings for you, something like that, whatever, I don't care. And then when she explained it to Jae Hoon, she didn't really mention the thing that happened with G1, right? And why this needs to be more scandalous or this needs to happen to cover that up and satisfy Kang Cherry to make her not put G1's story in the show, okay? And so she explains it by saying stuff like, kissing is the same as one night stands. We just give it away nowadays. Something like that. It's BS. It's such BS. And I forgot this. Someone online pointed it out. But actually, it's Kang Cherry who said this to her and convinced her that this is the solution. And so she used the same argument to Jae Hoon. But she's not fully convinced of it herself. I could be wrong. I'm not in the mood to fact check this one, okay? I'm pretty sure, maybe that's what happened. So once again, this is still Kang Cherry's, her machinations. She caused all of this. Even in this aspect, Kang Cherry has a hand in making this situation even messier than it already was. I think my interpretation or how I remember it's like he's I don't know, offended, I guess? Or it's like, it feels like, am I that easy? Do you think I'm just going to go with that? Am I one of those people who you think are that easy? Yeah, something like that. And so, could she have explained the situation to Jae-hoon and why he had to kiss Jiyeon? Sure, but that would expose Ji-won's story to more and more people, and she wanted to respect her privacy. So could she have explained it better and not use those reasons? Yes. But then there was this whole flashback at the beginning of the episode where they kind of talked about her not passing the college entrance exams or something and having to repeat cram school or something. Essentially, we've established she's not very smart. She's not really here because she's super savvy. It's just that she wanted to be a PD, So let's just put that out there. That Goo Yeo Reum is not very smart. She's not even half Kang Cherry's general PD savviness, okay? So it's like, girl, you could have done better. But I think when you're thinking on your feet, when the cameras are about to roll, you just have to say something. That's the first thing that she blurted out. And then he ended up kissing her. It was behind the silhouette, so people couldn't really see who he was kissing. And then they filmed that. And then eventually it was caught on camera that Jiyeon actually left the hotel, so it couldn't have been her that he was kissing. And then they aired that on TV. So you're wondering, oh my god, who's the other contestant that Jae Hoon is kissing? But actually, it's Yeo Reum. What a disaster. What a disaster, right? Such an, oh my god, like when this all happening, it's like, oh my god. So, to summarize that entire thing I was talking about, I don't think this is bad writing. It's making things difficult, right? It kind of hurt his feelings, sure. But then, what he did caused a lot of serious repercussions that they're going to have to deal with for the coming episodes. Okay, so aside from people saying that her actions are incomprehensible, that she's a terrible person, that it's bad writing, let's also talk about how Jae Hoon is being treated like a saint while Yeo Reum is the villain because she's the taker in their relationship. First of all, Park Jae Hoon is not a saint. Like, I swoon, and with his super romantic actions because I'm rooting for them. I still do really root for them. I think there's a lot to work on, but it's episode 8. We better have a lot to work on. I'm rooting for them, but he has more of a childish or petty streak than she does. Like, her actions, Yeo Reum's actions of asking him to participate in the variety show, of asking him to kiss Jiyeon, asking him to do this and that, I see it always as coming out of desperation, right? It's not the smartest thing, and it's unfortunate that it always has to be her best friend, right? And you think, oh, she doesn't value their friendship. She doesn't respect him as a person. I just think This is something she can really count on. This is a really desperate situation. And if she had more time to think about it, if he weren't conveniently there, she wouldn't ask him to do this. I really don't think she's that much of a user. But like, everything is falling apart for her right now. So, her disagreeable actions are, for me, still just desperation. His disagreeable actions are petty. Like, remember when he was disrupting her night with Inwoo by being loud upstairs in the house above hers? Just because, he didn't like that her ex was back in her life and in her house. Okay? That's pretty petty. That's pretty childish. You don't know what they were talking about. You don't know what was really going on there. Or when she specifically asked him, please show up looking nice, looking respectable to save my face or to help save my pride from this guy who rejected me, who I'm working with. And he showed up in like a truck dressed as a bum. And it's like, you don't know how much that could have meant to her. You don't know how much her life could have been falling apart at that very moment. And you didn't show up for her when she needed it, right? That's not a good friend thing to do. So if I were to choose something that's more infuriating to watch, childishness and pettiness, that's more infuriating to me. Really, than someone who, like, I'm sorry that you are the only person I can count on. For me, sorry, that's more infuriating to watch. And if I were to choose who's more childish and petty between them, it's him. But you'll say, oh, those issues aren't that serious. They're not that deep compared to what Yeo Reum is asking of him. So, you know what? Yeah, let's talk about a more serious issue. Yeah, sure. He confessed to her that he was kind of having feelings for her. By the way, a week after the wedding that she just called off. But he said he was going to respect her wishes if she wanted to be friends. And she said, yeah, let's just be friends. Too much is going on in my life right now. Obviously, her wedding just got called off very publicly on the day itself. And she's the producer of the dating show that he's in. So obviously, it would be incredibly unprofessional of her to date him or to accept his feelings when he's supposed to be, faking it for the cameras or just trying for the cameras. It's why he's on the show. Okay, but then after that, he's like, okay, I'll respect it. And he literally says, use me. And Girlie takes that seriously because like, you want to be her knight in shining armor about this? Sure. And she actually used him. Okay. But then he's still hanging around her, having feelings, and showing it. That's the problem. When you show it, if you can keep it to yourself, it's fine. But if you keep showing it, and you keep low-key pushing her in very critical times for her, for this job that she cares about, for this show that she cares about, I don't think that's a great thing. And then when he kissed her in front of all their cameras, knowing that that's the cue that the cameraman and the production team were waiting for, I low-key understood him. Like, to prove that, like, okay, you think I'm that easy? You think I'll just kiss anyone? Yeah, I'll kiss you. You're right there. Yeah, she was kind of provoking him. It's kind of offensive. Yeah, okay. But now we have to deal with the consequences of his actions. So I think he's equally to blame for this situation. Why is all of the blame, all of the hate on her? And second thing about Jae Hoon being a saint in people's eyes and Yeo Reum is the villain in people's eyes. At this moment in their lives, Yeo Reum is the one in need. Yeo Reum is the one who needs help, who needs support. Okay, remember when Jae Hoon was depressed years ago? And Yeo Reum was the one who kind of picked him up and was there for him. Did we know what Yeo Reum was going through? Did we know if she was having a tough time as well, if she was struggling at work, or if it wasn't easy for her to be with him through his depression? Like, that's emotional labor, okay? That's tiring. And I'm sure at the time, Jae Hoon was not giving as much as he was getting from her, right? And in the present day, Girlie just called off her wedding. She almost lost her job and her staff. She needed him to join the show. She was very desperate about it. You may think that, oh, she's asking more from him than he did for her. But like, can you really quantify that? That her supporting him and being there for him when he was depressed is less difficult than him participating in this dating show while he has feelings for her? Like, can you really quantify everything you give to and get from a relationship? Like, is that really possible? Who knows how difficult that was for Yeo Reum at the time to support him with his depression? Who knows how much it actually meant for Jae Hoon to have someone in his life like that, and out of his gratitude and his love for her as a friend, as a person, that he's willing to pay that favor back. Okay. But like, you're really comparing, you're really quantifying everything you give and everything you get from a relationship. That's I don't know, that seriously made me reflect on how we see relationships and why my girl Yeom Mi Jong from My Liberation Notes was right. That's right, Classic Dramabuds episode, we talk about the one show that I'm really actually obsessed with on every episode I want to because I can. Okay, back to My Liberation Notes. Remember when Mi Jong said, relationships are exhausting, relationships are constant labor, and it's because we think of them this way, right? We always have these expectations of how we should be treated, what we should be getting, and we feel like I as a person have no value and what can I give to this relationship? And so you feel worthless in comparison to the other person in your relationship. You're always sizing people up, including yourself, always expecting to be treated a certain way, always expecting that people are expecting something of you. It's exhausting. And so, the show addresses this by showing that worship couple, Mi Jong and Mr. Goo, they had a phase where Mi Jong was the taker, demanding Goo to worship her. Like, how selfish is that? To not question my decisions, to accept me as I am, to make me feel good about myself, to hype me up until I feel like I can love myself. Right? Isn't that so selfish? And then, when he left, she was able to work on herself, she was good, she was finally able to really respect herself and love herself because she saw that she was a lovable person and that she had inherent worth as a person. And then, in the future, Goo came back and Goo became the taker, asking her to listen to him talk, to listen to him get, all the dark thoughts out of his head. And it was Mi Jong's turn to listen. And in that way, that was what she was giving him. Right? They had faces. One was the giver, one was the taker, and then the other way around. And people act like the relationship was inherently problematic just because he's an alcoholic. Like, just because he's an alcoholic, it's problematic already. But then the show reminds you that alcoholism is a mental illness. It can be a coping mechanism for depression, which the show very clearly depicted a very depressed guy. And therefore, because of that, he is not inherently problematic just because he is an alcoholic. And he has inherent value as a person who deserves to be liberated from that, who deserves to have a relationship that doesn't feel like labor. Because as he was able to see the inherent value in Mi Jong as a person who is lovable, who is worth listening to, who is someone he can fear and someone he can respect, Mi Jong was also able to see that he's a person with inherent value who is lovable and worth listening to and worth caring about. And by not quantifying how much they give and how much they take, what is my value as a person, what's their value as a person, by not quantifying any of those, they were able to freely support each other and not feel burdened by their relationship. And so you may ask, girly, what's the point? What's the point of this in relation to Love is for Suckers? My point is, we are in the phase of their lives where Yeo Reum needs more support than Jae Hoon does. But that doesn't mean that Jae Hoon has never gotten anything from her and that he doesn't appreciate her mere presence in his life. So, to summarize what I feel, I just think people should stop watching a rom-com or melodrama if they stop rooting for the leads to end up together. Like, I think you need to save yourself the time. There's no point. The purpose of this genre is to fantasize about two people, overcoming things to end up together. So if you don't want them to end up together, what's the point? And if there's nothing to overcome, why aren't they together? Like, there needs to be plot. And at this point, I don't know how they're gonna fix the plot, which I like. I like that the show is not predictable, because could I have predicted that that is what Kang Cherry would do? That she would edit it that way to expose Park Jae-hoon kissing someone else when they were fully ready to pretend that the girl in the silhouette was actually Han Ji-yeon. They were fully prepared to lie about that, and then Kang Cherry edited it to expose that. Could I have come up with that? No, I really couldn't. So I respect to that plot twist. And also, if you can't stand a complex female character who makes decisions in difficult situations that are not perfect, and oftentimes step on other people's feelings, why are you watching this? Well, you know what? She's a good character. She's a good character. All of her decisions, I can kind of explain it with the situation. It kind of makes sense. But there are people out there who want to call her unreasonable, who want to call her a terrible character just because she's not nice and perfect and never steps on his feelings. And honestly, this is a complex female character that doesn't require some trauma of accidentally killing someone to be complex. Which we cannot say the same for the male character. Okay, let me clarify this before someone twists my words. I don't hate him. Okay, I don't hate Park Jae-hoon. I root for him too. But I would just like people to acknowledge that he too is making decisions as a grown adult. And they're not perfect. They're sometimes petty, and some of his decisions actually overstep some boundaries with Yeo Reum and with Ji-yeon. Now that we're talking about her a little bit, additionally, I do not like Jiyeon. Okay, I do not like Han Jiyeon. I'm waiting for her to reveal that she's actually extremely manipulative. All of the nice girl victim of not being loved is a ploy. Like, I'm waiting for it. Also, Kang Cherry PD, terrible person, great PD. Great foil for Yeo Reum, who is, once again, a good person, not a great PD. She's not even half as smart as Kang Cherry. She could not come up with a plot twist that Kang Cherry has given to us in this show. But yeah, that's it for me today. Enough about the show. Consider this an extended first impressions episode. I don't know what will happen in episodes 9 and 10. Episode 9 will air the night I release this, but you will not hear about it from here. I'm done. You just follow me on Twitter, Dramabuds_TKP. Just follow me on Twitter. I'll probably still be talking about the show every now and then. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to this, to me being angry for I don't know how many minutes. But yeah, that's it for me today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to leave a comment, like, subscribe, follow, and tell me what you thought about today's episode. See you soon!